It doesn't use the word dogmatic.
That's fine. That's what the church
okay, so you admit that it doesn't have to use the word dogmatic to be dogmatic.
But the church has defined.
Right, exactly. You just made my point. That it doesn't have to say dogmatic to be dogmatic. Okay?
Are you going to be the arbiter for that? I don't choose to be.
The church has declared exactly what the conditions are, and the church has always held, and the church has held, no one has questioned.
Do you know how many times the church, if I was speaking in your verbiage, has committed the sin of this type of scandal? You could quote 3rd century, 5th century popes. Certainly.
No, you can't.
Pope Honorius. Yes, you can. You can make arguments over that.
I'm very familiar with that issue.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right, and you don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Honorius is number 1.
You reject papal infallibility. That's how simple it is.
No,
yes, you do. Yes, you do. You reject the dogma that popes, when they teach in a binding fashion to the universal church on a point of faith or morals, are protected from error. They're infallible. Okay.
Where I said that.
What's that? You reject this. I just quoted the Council of Trent. That's infallible. It's a point of faith or morals to be believed by the universal church, promulgated by the Pope. Same thing. You reject the Council of Florence, that outside the church there's no salvation.
I'm not rejecting it.
Yes, you are.
The church is not rejecting it.
You are.
Things, through no fault of their own.
That is not church teaching. And you also believe...
You know what?
Then what I'm saying to you is you're not a Catholic.
Right.
You're not a Catholic, and that's why, you won't be able to see...
Doesn't have the right to bind and loose?
That does not... The church cannot change dogma.
It only has the right to bind, but it can't loose.
Loose refers to forgiving of sins.
No.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
That's not what Peter...
It has a number of applications, and it involves a number of things, but it does not involve...
Not really.
Yeah, right. You can't even name the first council of the church, and you're explaining to me what Catholic teaching is on this issue. You don't have a clue what you're talking about. And that's why these other things that I would cover in Vatican II, they'll be meaningless to you because you're of bad will. That's obvious. You're just a liar, like so many others out there.
You're covering things that
You reject the Council of Trent. I mean, how can you possibly think that you're Catholic when you reject the Council of Trent's dogmatic teaching?
I'm rejecting a personal arbiter to say that this is, basically you're not acting any more differently than Martin Luther. Because you're basically...
No, actually, you are the one acting like Luther.
It should believe in what it should.
No, by the way, did you know that the Vatican II anti-popes have praised Luther? Did you know that they actually agreed with Luther?
Right, about reform.
No, Luther was a manifest heretic.
Indulgences?
I do not agree with the abuses that were going on and have gone on. That doesn't make him not a heretic.
Okay, but he was right about that, wasn't he?
He was right about certain things of abuses that crept in. So what? That means nothing.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Don't condemn the whole thing just because one part of or one element...
That's like saying that a diseased man who is dying has a healthy right leg. So what? It's meaningless. He's diseased and dying, okay, and so he's on his way to death. So the fact that Luther may have stated some true things, that's irrelevant. He was a manifest heretic.
It's not irrelevant.
Yes, it is.
I'm just saying
everybody says some true things.
I'm not saying he was great and wonderful and let's...
Right, and so your point is meaningless.
Let's make him a saint. Okay, I'm just simply saying that in some regards he had a point.
So what?
All right. So what?
Do you agree he was a heretic?
He's got every right to...
Do you agree he was a heretic?
Yeah, at the time, because he condemned a lot of doctrines, including the transubstantiation.
Right, and did you know that John Paul II and Benedict XVI have praised him?
Yeah, so?
Yeah, praising a heretic is to favor heresy. Okay.
Well, you got to understand something. You can also give honor to a book of Quran without agreeing with it either.
No, you can't. Okay, that's why St. Thomas Aquinas said that because you cannot honor
honor anybody in the world.
You cannot honor the holy book. You cannot honor the quote holy book of a false religion. Okay, if the book represents
we cannot even shake the hand of a person who is a non-believer.
No, that's different. That's different. But you cannot honor the, quote, holy book of a false religion. That's why St. Thomas Aquinas said that if anyone were to worship at the tomb of Muhammad or pay homage to the tomb of Muhammad, their false prophet of Islam, he would be deemed...
Well, no one has ever done that.
He would be deemed an apostate.
I understand.
Well, no, but Benedict XVI and John Paul II, they've done the equivalent of that.
They've honored, basically,
Islam.
The religion.
Yes, that's apostasy.
There's nothing wrong with honoring a religion.
Yes, it is.
No, there isn't. You're not worshiping at their God. Okay? That's what that is saying.
No, it is absolutely heretical and apostate to honor false religions.
To anybody's God? What are you talking about?
When you honor the religion, okay, that means that you honor the system of beliefs and practices. Of course it does.
I honor my friend who's a Jewish rabbi. That doesn't mean I'm going to worship church.
You're showing the invalidity of your argumentation and your inability to see these things by that statement you just made. You're switching from the issue of the religion to the person. Okay, we can talk about honoring the people. That's bad enough. Yes. But he not only does that.
Bad enough.
He
should hate the people. That's what Jesus taught. Hate the people.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, well, that's what you're leading on to.
No. See, you're not capable of understanding true charity because you don't have the faith. And so true charity is foreign to you because you don't even have the foundational faith. Your problem is you don't believe in Christ.
You have thousands of materials in front of you, and you claim to think that you know everything, whereas
when did I say I know everything?
I'm working out of nothing. I took your call sincerely, and I'm simply
right. And
many things that what you're saying is wrong. Based
no, they're not.
The assertion that anything you believe is dogmatic is dogmatic.
No, I've demonstrated to you that it's dogmatic, and any person, you can even probably ask your apostate bishop there in Chicago. You can ask him, is the Council of Trent dogmatic? He's going to tell you probably, yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Okay, and so the fact that you're arguing that it's not dogmatic
doesn't mean that everything in that council was.
As I said, the points dealing with faith or morals
are not all. Canons can be changed.
Not canons dealing with faith or morals and parts of Revelation. And that canon I quoted to you about canon I quoted to you. No. This is the teaching of the church. This is the historical teaching of the church. Okay, anybody who knows anything about traditional Catholic teaching, who has any level of fidelity to it at all, would admit that the Council of Trent's canons dealing with faith are dogmatic.
Yeah.
Okay, so the fact that you're denying that shows how far you are removed from real Catholicism. You're totally wrapped up. You're totally wrapped up in modernism. And see, one of the problems with most of people like yourself.
I'm simply telling you that not everything that the Pope says is dogma.
Here's another problem.
You're saying it is.
I didn't say that, and anyone who will listen to this will be able to see that I never said that. I said that those parts dealing with faith or morals to be believed.
Those parts. You are choosing whatever the Pope says is dogma. Whatever the Pope doesn't say that is in line with...
You already admitted that the issues we talked about, such as salvation, deal with faith. You already admitted that.
Salvation deals with faith, yes. I have
right,
that.
And so when the Church teaches something on faith, when it teaches on something on salvation, how you obtain it, okay, who gets it, and how they get it, okay, and what people have to believe about that. And original sin, these are matters of faith. These are matters of dogma. That's the point.
Well, the thing is you're making that arbitrarily.
Oh, boy.
You're making that arbitrarily consider that.
Well, this is why St. Paul teaches you have to reject the heretic after the second rebuke, because with people of bad will...
How many heretics there are? I mean, you want to call everybody a heretic?
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I just want to... I call the people who are heretics.
Any fingerprints, anything you see is a heresy.
How are you not a heretic?
That's how you see it.
You reject the Council of Florence's teaching.
But what teaching specifically